City Council to order for the regular meeting, February 26, 2024. This is the time and place as advertised. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. And so if you would please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilors, before we get started tonight, we have a special guest with us and our city attorney, Kayla Herman. If you would please introduce your guest for us so we can all meet her, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Kayla Herman, City Attorney. I'm pleased to have with us tonight Megan Godfrey. So Megan is a second-year law student at the University of Idaho College of Law, go Bandles. And we are both part of the mentorship program through the law school. So Megan is my mentee, and I wanted to give her a taste of all the things that the city does. So I'm happy to have her with us tonight.
Thank you, Kayla. And Megan, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, you can just say 1 minute why you're here or why you may be interested in municipal law, but in either event, we're sure excited to have you. So your choice.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Kayla's been so great in showing me everything about municipal law here in Lewiston. I'm an Idaho native, but I'm from Boise, so it is really nice just getting a little taste of the community up here as well. I'm definitely interested in like transactional law, so this is still a great segue for that as well.
You're a second-year law student.
Yes, this is my second year.
You have one more year after this, then?
One more big year.
So we want to encourage her to continue in her studies. So welcome and thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
time to be with us. Our next order of business is citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items or other items they wish to bring to the attention of the council. Citizens are encouraged to discuss operational issues in advance with the mayor in consideration of others wishing to speak. Please limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Also, Lewiston City Council pledges to practice and promote civility within the governing body, advocating for civil engagement, respecting others and their viewpoints, and finding solutions for the betterment of the city of Lewiston. If you're here to give comments tonight on any of the agenda items, so for example, like the proposed disestablishment of the Business Improvement District, this would be the time to give your comments. When we get to those subject items, you will not be allowed to provide public testimony. So be forewarned. If you have comments, please come to the microphone here at the center of the floor and introduce yourself and your city of residence. We don't need your physical address. So, and remember to speak up loudly and clearly so we can all hear you, and those at home that are listening can hear what you have to say also. So please, welcome.
Looks like it's just me tonight. Tammy Myers, Lewiston, Idaho. Good evening, members of the council and Mayor Johnson. I am a dedicated ratepayer and engaged advocate for our downtown community. I would like to address the resolution for the dissolution of our BID that you will be voting on later tonight. After the resolution is approved, there will be loose ends regarding assets acquired by the BID. The statute and the resolution that you'll be voting on tonight mentions the disposition of assets that the city council, or the assets that the city council will determine how those assets will be disposed of. There has likely been some discussion about the need to surplus such assets. However, I believe that the items whose individual value is much lower than the $1,000 per item used in the city's definition of an asset is unnecessary to go through the task of surplusing those items. Instead, I do suggest that a more useful and mutually beneficial option would be to integrate that list of assets purchased specifically for downtown Lewiston events, to put those into the service contract for BDL, ensuring the steadfast support for our vibrant community gatherings. As a ratepayer, I would prefer for the use of such items to continue as was intended when the purchases were approved by the BID Advisory Board. This could be done through a simple amendment to the current service contract between BDL and the City of Lewiston. These items could be listed in a service contract and updated annually as they reach the end of their useful life, because most of these items do not have a life much longer than a few years. This information can be seamlessly integrated into the reports presented by BDL each year to the City Council, which will promote transparency and accountability in our community initiatives. There will be much larger items that you guys will have to talk about as you get to that point as well, which will be benches, planters, trash receptacles. And I do suggest that those items become property of the city, with the maintenance and installation of such items becoming the responsibility of the city moving forward. This will benefit the district and promote continued downtown improvement. After all the debts of the BID have been paid, we do advocate that those funds get returned and dispersed proportionately to ratepayers that have actually contributed. And then that leads you to the other issue of the ratepayers who have not contributed over the last couple years and currently have tax liens. We would recommend, or I would recommend, that the tax liens that have been created by non-payment to the BID should be forgiven, except that has issues, so forgiven without tax liability. I do appreciate your guys' time in this matter, and thank you very much for your continued support of the beautiful downtown Lewiston district.
Thank you, Tammy. Very well done. Your comment. Brenda, welcome.
Hello, Brenda Morgan. I reside in Clarkson. I am the executive director for beautiful downtown Lewiston. And I just want to touch a little bit on what Tammy had shared. I do agree that the assets that were purchased by the Business Improvement District play a vital role in the events that we provide through beautiful downtown Lewiston. My recommendation would be to continue using those assets through our service contract. I will say through planning for our 2024 year and beyond, it would make a really large impact if we were unable to use those assets, to the point where we would have to cancel close to 4 events. So we only host 10 events a year. Of those 10 events, 6 of those are very focused on traffic to downtown, retail, bringing that economic driver to our valley. And without those assets, we would have to cancel those events solely because our organization thrives on sponsorships, partnerships, memberships, and without those assets, we would have to reconvene and figure out how to recuperate those. And so my recommendation and my ask for City Council is to, again, include those in our service contract. The other portion of that is I want to express my gratitude to the city for being so welcoming and being able to work with us as an organization to be able to house those events. They're very important to our downtown. They're very important to our community. And I think it is a vital piece of what our downtown thrives on. I would also like to emphasize the deadline that the Business Improvement District Board, although it has been dissolved, of May 1st to install the planters, benches, trash receptacles that are very visible to downtown. Our ratepayers have committed, both financially and emotionally, in my opinion, the investment to create a more vibrant downtown, something that once you have crossed a threshold, you know you're downtown. And that's part of the just visibility of what it looks like to be in downtown proper. I know I've talked about this several times. Our downtown goes from Groundwork Brewing on Snake River Avenue all the way to Hell's Canyon Grand on 21st. And you'll have to excuse me, I'm dealing with a lot of what I would love to say is like an Ebola virus that tried to kill me. I'm doing great. Everything's wonderful, but I still have a wonderful cough. So the impact that those events have, we're trying to branch between what we very kindly consider our dead zones. So we have downtown proper, which is very lovingly called between 3rd and 9th Street. Outside of that, we are really trying to connect between 9th and 21st and 3rd and the rest of Snake Avenue. And having those furnishings installed in our downtown right now is a very large step. And we really want to make sure that those are installed in a timely manner, that they are visible, that we can advertise the wonderful things that the city is helping us do and continue that partnership. So I would encourage council to, one, allow us to keep those assets that the BID has afforded us to continue expanding on our events. BDL will still run as it has since, I want to say 2007. Our nonprofit status afforded us a very larger scale in 2014, and we have operated on a upward platform since then. We would like to continue to do that, and we would love to have the city as our partner in doing so. So outside of that, I would really encourage the physical assets, again, the planters, the benches, trash receptacles, and potentially a little bit of maintenance downtown to be something that has a deadline of May 1st. I know the BID board had expressed that, and I would really encourage City Council to acknowledge that deadline and continue to do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brenda. Is there further citizen comments tonight? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to Roman numeral 4, presentations. Item A, excuse me. Generate financial report for January 31, 2024 in accordance with Idaho Code 50-208. We have Director Gordon here. Unless you have questions for Director Gordon, councilors, we will move on. Questions? Okay, we had an audit. Okay, next we'll move to Roman numeral 5, public hearings and related action items. Item A, public hearing, Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program application. Receiving public testimony on the City of Lewiston's Police Department application to the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program for funding in the amount of $10,061 to purchase a drug detection canine. And we have our grant manager, Linda Rose, with us here tonight, and Chief Cusick standing next to her to present. So how this will work is we will open the public hearing, have a staff presentation. We'll receive testimony from the public. If there is any, councilors, if you have questions, that will be your time. And then we'll close the public hearing. Once the public hearing is closed, you'll no longer be allowed or permitted to ask questions. So with that, I will open the public hearing and welcome Melinda to the microphone. And Melinda, if you could please introduce yourself for the record and remember to speak up loudly and clearly. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and council members. I am Melinda Rose, the grant writer for the City of Lewiston. And our public hearing tonight is basically just to give the public an opportunity to view and comment on the application that we presented to the Department of Justice in order to purchase a narcotics canine. You've all heard the story, I think, before when we went over the memorandum of understanding with the county. So I don't think this project is any surprise to anybody.
Okay, Chief Cusick, did you have anything to add to that? Please introduce yourself for the record if you do.
Jason Keys, Lewiston Police Chief. Excuse me. No, just one of my goals when I came up here about 18 months ago was always to expand the K-9 unit because of the drug interdiction potential and also the just the scourge of narcotics in the community. I think it would just be a valuable asset. And with the help of Melinda, we're able to secure this through the Department of Justice. So it will fully fund a second K-9 purchase when we move into that, probably late summer, early fall.
Thank you, Chief. We'll see if there's any testimony from the public. Look like we have any. Counselors, questions?
Mayor,
Counselor Forsman.
if I'm correct, you only have one K-9 right now, and then one K-9 officer that can only respond with that K-9, right? Because if you get a call, he's the only one that can handle.
Correct. We're actually going in the transition right now. Officer Lyons was just selected as the new K-9 officer, and he actually starts training next Monday with the current K-9. So the dog we have now will transition to Officer Lyons. And then sometime, like I said, when I think we're ready to kind of move into that second dog, another officer will be selected, and that new officer will get this new K-9 that we'll use this DOJ funding for.
This would help probably for that one individual to be able to, they can take rotations, because I'm sure that they have to be on call a lot, being the only K-9 officer.
They'll be on call 24/7 with the dog, yes.
Right, that's what I
Available to
figured.
assist us, but also if any other agency might have a need and their dog isn't available, we'll more than likely help them save it, like the county. It's not, like I said, and vice versa. Right now, we're kind of, if we need a dog currently, we could send Sergeant Reese at the moment, but he's transitioning out. So we'll kind of be down a dog for at least a month. But once Officer Lyons is trained up online, yeah. And for this foreseeable future, we will just have the one K-9 officer. Yes.
Thank you.
Other questions, counselors? I should have stated earlier, Counselor Lidkey is excused and absent tonight. She's not participating or listening at home that I'm aware of. Counselor Spickmeyer.
Chief, I guess maybe I didn't understand. Did you say the county has a canine as well, or does it?
They did. They've transitioned out, and actually, they're going to be going through the same training class. So yeah, I guess I was a little misspoke. Currently, they're down the one handler, so they're actually cycling one in. So until we get them all trained up, we'll actually be down K-9s. But yeah, but again, we're talking about vacations. If for some reason Officer Lyons on vacation, we may need, and vice versa. So we'll help each other out in that capacity.
Good.
Okay, with that, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you, Chief,
you.
and thank you, Melinda. The next item up, item B, Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program Certifications and Assurances, considering authorizing the mayor to approve the certifications and assurances for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program, which is a requirement of receiving the award. This is an action item. Again, we have Grant Manager Rose with us. If there are any questions, otherwise I would entertain a motion.
Mayor.
Counselor Forsman,
Motion to approve the certification and assurance for the Edward Bryan Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to execute any necessary documents.
Second.
been moved by Counselor Forsman, second by Counselor Spickmeyer to approve the certifications and assurances for the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to execute any necessary documents. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Brockie.
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Councilor Schroeder,
Aye.
Councilor Forsman,
Aye.
Councilor Klein, Councilor Spickmeyer.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, councilors. Next, we move to Roman numeral number 6, consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are considered routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these issues unless the councilor so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered on the active agenda under items moved from the consent agenda. Councilors,
Mayor,
Councilor Forsman,
I'd like to remove vouchers payable from the consent agenda to the active agenda.
okay. Councilors?
Mayor,
Counselor Forsman,
make a motion after we already,
I'm ready.
okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda without vouchers payable.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Forsman, second by Counselor Schroeder. If I heard that right, to approve the consent agenda less the vouchers payable, which have been placed under item 8. Is there discussion? Clerk Brockie?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Counselor Schroeder,
Aye.
Counselor Forsman,
Aye.
Counselor Klein,
Aye.
Counselor Spickelmeyer.
Aye.
Thank you, councilors. Next, we move to Roman numeral 7, active agenda, item A, 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, considering approval of the 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. This is an action item, and we have with us tonight our Finance Director, Amy Gordon. And Amy, I'll welcome you to the stand. If you'd please introduce yourself for the record, and if Dawn's going to speak too, Dawn, if you'd please introduce yourself for the record. Just remember to speak up, excuse me, loudly and clearly so we can hear you here and those listening at home. So welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Amy Gordon, City Treasurer. And I am going to introduce the city's auditors this evening to present the financial report for approval. Prior to doing so, I just want to take a moment to first thank my staff for all the extra work they've put into these past few months, proofing our numbers and preparing them for the auditors, being available to the auditors during field work and any subsequent requests that they have had of staff. I appreciate their time and dedication that they put into the audit. In particular, I'd like to thank the city's accounting supervisor, Claire Blewett. She coordinates the process for us and keeps us all on track and makes certain that we're getting things done when they need to be done. And she's responsible for you guys having the financial books that were presented to you earlier today. I would also like to thank our city directors who we lean on for information during the process. They provide us information for the books that you've received tonight. And then finally, our public information officer, who helps us put together our city profile and department profiles that are included in the book before that you have as well. And then finally, I'd like to thank President Gage, Ms. Dawn Aliverti, and her team for being the auditors this year, for their professionalism and for making the process collaborative and easy to get through each year. So without further ado, Ms. Aliverti with President Gage.
Thank you, Amy. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. I'm Dawn Aliverti. I'm audit partner with President Gage and in charge of the City of Lewiston's audit engagement. I'm here tonight to present formally to the council the audited financial statements and reports of the fiscal year ending September 30, 2023. We have reviewed the audit process and results with the audit committee previously about a month or so ago, and that audit committee was established approximately 13 years ago to provide additional transparency. Additionally, the annual comprehensive financial report was provided to you in final form prior to this meeting and discussed previously today at the work session. The independent audit, President Gage has performed your audit in accordance with auditing standards generally accepted in the United States of America. Under these standards, it is the objective of the audit to obtain reasonable, not absolute, assurance about whether the financial statements are free of material misstatement. Basically, the financial statements and information reported within the annual comprehensive financial report is the responsibility of management and the council. And President Gage is responsible for issuing an opinion on that information provided after the audit is completed. Within the annual comprehensive financial report, which you received the book, the large book, there are three financial reports. There are three reports. We issued an opinion indicating the city's financial statements with regard to government activity, business type activity, the component unit, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining funds are fairly presented in all material respects. This is an unmodified or a clean opinion. Additionally, during our audit, we considered the city's internal control procedures over financial reporting and determined they have procedures in place To account for the city's funds, we issued a clean report as well. We audited the city's compliance with state and federal regulations along with internal controls over those compliance requirements with regards to federally funded major programs. We issued an unmodified or clean opinion on that as well. If there are no questions, we formally request that the council authorize the release of the audited financial statement as presented.
Thank you, Dawn. Councilors, any questions?
Mayor,
Councilor Forsman?
just one. Just for the public to know, you guys are an outside auditing, not internal.
Correct. Yes, we are an outside, independent, certified, doing a certified audit, certified accounting firm. And audits can only be performed by certified public accountants in a firm.
Thank you.
Councilor Schroeder?
Thank you. I move to approve the 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Schroeder, seconded by Councilor Forsman to approve the 2023 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Is there further discussion? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn, for your work on all this. We
Thank you, Don.
appreciate our partnership with you. And Director Gordon, too. Councilors, next up, we have item 7B, volunteer realtor contract extension. Considering a 6-month extension of the seller representation agreement between the City of Lewiston and Team BNC/Silver Creek Realty Group for the sale of the Ann Bollinger Performing Arts Center. This is an action item, and we have with us here our Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Jennifer Tungano. Jennifer, if you'd please introduce yourself for the record. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jennifer Tungano, Assistant City Attorney for the City of Lewiston, and I am here this evening to request that you consider extending the existing seller representation agreement with Team BMC for another 6 months. The last meeting that we had, the City Council approved proceeding with a letter of intent issued by a new proposed buyer and discontinuing pursuit of a letter of intent with Athena Who LLC. We have sent a proposed purchase and sale agreement to that buyer. We have not yet received anything back signed. However, in the meantime, we'd like to be able to allow Team BMC to continue to market that property. That current agreement is set to expire March 25th. And so regardless of whether or not that agreement is signed or not, we'd like to be able to continue to use Team BMC throughout the remainder of at least the 6-month period, if not longer, if needed.
Thank you, Jennifer. Councilors, questions?
Just
Councilor,
one.
Councilor Forsman?
I read in there, the payment doesn't get pulled until we sell the property, but what if then the contract ends when we don't find a seller? I think I might have missed that on there, if there was anything on that.
My understanding is if there is no seller that is found, then we do not owe Team BMC any fees.
Okay, thank you.
Councilors, other questions? Councilor Schroeder?
I move to approve a 6-month extension of the seller representation agreement with Team BMC Silver Creek Realty Group and authorizing the mayor to sign said extension agreement.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Schroeder, second by Councilor Forsman to approve a 6-month extension of the seller representation agreement with Team BNC Silver Creek Realty Group and authorizing the mayor to sign and said extension agreement. Is there further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Clerk Rocky?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Councilor Schroeder,
Aye.
Councilor Forsman,
Aye.
Councilor Klein,
Aye.
Councilor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, councilors. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you,
Mayor. Thank
Jennifer.
Councilor.
Next up, councilors, item C, First Amendment to Professional Services Agreement with American Company. Considering approving the First Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement between the City of Lewiston and American Company for the downtown transmission main replacement, WR 600 Phase 2, final design and construction services. This is an action item. We have our Public Works Director, Dustin Johnson, with us tonight. Director, you know the routine. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor. Dustin Johnson, Public Works Director. In front of you tonight is the contract the Mayor just outlined. So to give a little context and history on this is the American Recovery ARPA funds that the city received a direct allocation of $5.7 million. I guess it was the previous council tabbed for those dollars to go directly to water main improvements in the downtown core. So staff immediately reached out and got an engineer on board who did the first phase of the design. Then the preceding summer brought in a contractor to do the first phase. Essentially, the work has been going east-west. So did a little portion there by Locomotive Park, and then the bulk of it was outlined in here, basically to 9th Street. Yes, 9th Street right there. So now this second phase extends the design contract an additional my eyes are not as good as they used to be, $564,000 for the design services, totaling the contract to $1.2 million for design services, leaving us about $2.7 million for construction of what's left of our ARPA dollars. The ARPA dollars, so this will have them designed. The project will be contracted out basically a year from now. So the project should be completed in the summer of 25. And all these funds, ARPA dollars, need to be obligated by the end of this year and spent by the end of 26. So this would meet those requirements as set by the feds. So I think that's about all the information that's pertinent to this, but I stand for questions.
Thank you, Director. Councilors? Councilor Spicklemeyer.
Yeah, Director, just kind of following this budget impact, I mean, you explained some of it. So the last part said there'd be a $3 million appropriated in the city fiscal fund. Is that additional to this ARPA?
No, that just covers our budget. We've budgeted $3 million in there, and the revenue is 2.7. So if there's an overage and we have funds available, we can program that little bit in there to finish up the project. The trick of it is, we knew in the beginning we could probably design all of our needs, but probably couldn't construct all of it. So we're moving forward and getting as much use out of those federal dollars as we can, knowing that we either have to pull back. It will be a miracle if we read exactly what we're obligated from the Fed. So we'll either have to pull back a phase or two or spend some money to get us to just close that out.
Okay.
Councilor Schroeder.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the professional service agreement between the City of Lewiston and Merrick and Company.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Schroeder, seconded by Councilor Kleberg to approve the First Amendment to the Professional Services Agreement between the City of Lewiston and American Company. Is there any debate on the motion? Clerk Brockie?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Councilor Schroeder,
Aye.
Councilor Forsman,
Aye.
Councilor Klein,
Aye.
Councilor Spicklemeyer.
Aye.
Passes. Thank you, councilors, and thank you, Director. We have you, it looks like, a couple more times. Next item D, councilors bid award IB-23-024, WR 100, Port of Entry Waterline Project, considering approving the bid award for the Port of Entry Waterline Project to Ascorp Incorporated, doing business as Depco Construction, Orfino, Idaho, in the amount of $737,590.30, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the City of Lewiston and Ascorp Incorporated, DBA Depco Construction. This is an action item. Again, we have our Public Works Director, Dustin Johnson, with us here. Director.
Good evening, Mayor. Dustin Johnson, Public Works Director. About a year ago, it'd be last March, we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Idaho Department of Transportation for the construction of a water main that the mayor just described. So this is the following up on that this is the award of the construction of it. So the Port of Entry out there on 95 has insufficient water. They reached out to the city, probably 2 years ago, looking for a solution to that. They ran the different scenarios from their end and found that tying into the Lewiston's water system was, it's a large investment up front, but it's a reliable source of water that they can use for forever. So we sat down with them, came up with this MOU that has already been executed that essentially says this will be a city-owned water main to a certain point. Once it enters their domain, it's theirs, just like any other water main or water service line. But the city is going to administer the construction project and be reimbursed by ITD. ITD basically came to the city, said, you guys operate water lines, you construct them, you do water line type of construction, we build highways and bridges. So we worked out that deal where the city would administer it. So there's actually no real cost to the city other than we will now incur the responsibility of maintaining more water main, but we should absorb more customers as they see the benefit of having water out there. So I think that's the bulk of it. The costs are outlined in the memo, but as I said, those are costs that will be covered by ITD. And the most important part is that, well, the costs are absorbed, the construction costs are picked up by ITD, but also staff time for the inspection and administration of this contract is also reimbursed by the state. So I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Director. Councilors, Councilor Spiegelmeier?
So Director, does the Transportation Department pay it as it goes, or do they reimburse us?
We typically on these, and I don't have the specifics in front of me, but typically like with DEQ or anybody else, we get a monthly statement from the contractor and we flip it back to them for reimbursement. So it's usually on a monthly, it's called out in the contract, whether it's twice a month or monthly. But yeah, we pay it and then send it back in for reimbursement.
Councilors? Kleber?
Make a motion?
Motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve Ward IFB 23-024 to S Corp. Inc., doing business as Depot Construction, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and S Corp. Doing business as Depot Construction.
Second.
Been moved by Council President Kleber, seconded by Councilor Spiegelmeier to award IFB-23-024 to Escort Incorporated, doing business as Depco Construction, authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Escort Incorporated, doing business as Depco Construction. Is there debate on the motion? Clerk Brockie?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Councilor Schroeder,
Aye.
Councilor Forsman,
Aye.
Councilor Klein,
Aye.
Councilor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you, councilors. Next up, we have item E, Q's camera truck purchase. Considering accepting the price proposal submitted by Q's Incorporated for the Houston-Galveston Area Council HGAC Cooperative Purchasing Program, contract SC 01-021 for the total amount of $400,000, and authorizing staff to initiate a purchase order. This is an action item. Welcome, Director Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Dustin Johnson, Public Works Director. In front of you is basically a purchase for a camera truck. It was in the budget. We've reached out and got prices, and the price is $400,000. The truck is roughly 14 years old, 13 years old. The truck itself is a pretty critical piece of equipment that we use for cameraing sewer lines, and now we have storm sewer lines, additional sewer lines to maintain and TV. The big knock on this truck that we have today is the camera equipment works great. The truck has struggled to keep running. And so we're hoping that we'll just keep this supplement. The old truck will supplement the new truck because just there's so much demand for the camera truck in itself. So hopefully we are not keeping up on our demand on the camera truck as we've got it currently. So this new truck will be much appreciated. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Director. Councilors? Councilor Spiegelmeier?
So Director, in here, it says for your budget impact, you had it in the 2024 budget. I'm just curious, so the old truck will be accessed and?
Well, we talked about, because typically we do the trade-in, but that truck, there's so much demand for our camera truck, so we would like to keep it and not surplus that one out.
Councilor Schroeder?
I move to accept the price proposal submitted by Q's Inc. per the Houston-Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program Contract, SC 01-021, and authorizing the city staff to initiate a purchase order.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Schroeder, second by Counselor Forsman, to accept the price proposal submitted by Q's Incorporated for the Houston-Galveston Area Council Cooperative Purchasing Program, contract SC01-021, and authorizing city staff to initiate a purchase order. Is there debate on the motion? Clerk Rocky?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Counselor Schroeder,
Aye.
Counselor Forsman.
Aye.
Counselor Klein. Aye. Counselor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Thank you, councilors. Next up, we have item F, bid award IIFB-24-010 Carnegie Library and Restoration. Considering approving the bid award for the Carnegie Library Painting and Restoration Project to Magnum Construction LLC in the amount of $106,058.40, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between Magnum Construction LLC and the city of Lewiston. This is an action item. We have with us here our facilities director, Ms. Valerie Warren. Valerie, please introduce yourself for the record. Remember to speak up loudly and clearly so we can hear you up here. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I'm Valerie Warren. I'm the city's facility manager. The bid award for the Carnegie Library was in the original quest for funding that I gave back in December that you approved. And this is just to award the bid for it. The original quote was $100,000, and the bid came in at 106, so pretty close. I believe their insurance is what raised it up a little bit.
Councilors, do you have questions for Valerie tonight?
Question.
Councilor Klein?
So with it, it said in the documents that you reached out to 2 other companies to do the work. Did you ever hear back from them?
One I did not hear back from, and the other one did not have the capabilities to do this level of restoration. Because the painting and the wood rot is the issue. They had the lead certification, but they did not have the ability to replicate the wood, the historical features that were in the building.
Councilors, further questions for Ms. Warren? Councilor Forsman?
A motion.
Motion's in order.
A motion to award IIFB 24010 to Magnum Construction LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Magnum Construction LLC.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Forsman, second by Councilor Schroeder to award IFB-24-010 to Magnum Construction LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Magnum Construction LLC. Is there further debate or discussion? Clerk Brocky?
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Counselor Schroeder,
Aye.
Counselor Forsman,
Aye.
Counselor Klein. Aye. Counselor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, councilors. Thank you, Valerie. We got the next one too. All righty. Item G, bid award, IIFB-24-013, Fire Station 1, 2, and 4 remediation. Considering approving the bid award for IIFB-24-013, Fire Stations 1, 2, and 4 remediation to Advanced Contracting LLC in the amount of $149,350, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Advanced Contracting LLC. This is an action item. Ms. Warren, again, if you please introduce yourself for the record, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Valerie Warren, City Facilities. This is for the remediation of the diesel residue and sealing up of the residues in the fire stations. The original estimates I gave you in December was $150,000, and the actual bid came in at $149,350. So it came in just a little under.
Thank you. Councilors, do you have questions for Ms. Warren about the project? Counselor Spickelmeyer.
Thank you. Valerie, I'm just curious, add on to this, in December, we had 6 projects that were approved. So are these the first 2?
These are the first 2. I haven't got bids back from the others yet.
Okay, thanks.
Counselors. Counselor Schroeder.
I move to award IIFB 24013 to Advanced Contracting LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Advanced Contracting LLC.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Schroeder, seconded by Counselor Kleberg to award IFB 24-013 to Advanced Contracting LLC and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement between the city of Lewiston and Advanced Contracting LLC. Is there debate on the motion? Clerk Brockie.
Council President Kleber,
Aye.
Councilor Schroeder,
Aye.
Councilor Forsman.
Aye.
Councilor Klein.
Aye.
Councilor Spickelmeyer.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you, councilors. Next up, item H, ordinances. Number 1, first reading. A, ordinance 4912. Considering repealing and reserving section 7-6 of the Lewiston City Code related to the Lewiston Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board, MSAB, amending section 2-42 subsection C regarding the membership of the MSAB, amending section 2-49 subsection C regarding the powers and duties of the MSAB, and providing an effective date. This is an action item. We have our Fire Chief, Greg Reitmeyer, with us here tonight. Chief, if you please introduce yourself for the record and remember to speak up loudly and clearly. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Greg Reitmeyer, Fire Chief for the City of Lewiston. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I'm also here with Mike Larson, the chairman of our MSAB committee. Back about 12 months ago, the mayor asked that we look at the MSAB ordinances and make sure that they were current and take the review that's asked in the code. As we did that with our new city attorney, Jennifer Tenango, we were able to notice that there's quite a few inconsistencies and some improvements that could be made to the Chapter 7 of the ordinance. The first one of that is to remove the membership requirements and the membership language and place it in Chapter 2 of City Code, where all of the other advisory board membership information is contained. So this is what you see before you tonight, is moving the membership requirements for MSAB into Chapter 2 City Code. Any questions? Happy to answer them.
Thank you, Chief. Councilors? Councilor Spickelmeyer.
Motion to approve the first reading of ordinance number 4912.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Spickelmeyer, second by Councilor Forsman, to approve the first reading of ordinance number 4912. Is there further discussion? Are there any amendments? Hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Clerk Brockie.
Approving the first reading of ordinance 4912, an ordinance of the city of Lewiston repealing and reserving section 7-6 of the Lewiston City Code related to the Lewiston Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board, amending section 2-42C regarding the membership of the Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board, amending section 2-49C regarding the powers and duties of the Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board, and providing an effective date.
Councilors, next up, we have item H2, first, second, and third readings. Item A, ordinance 4913, approving an ordinance just establishing the downtown Lewiston Business Improvement District pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-2618, Sub 2, dissolving the Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board, repealing City Ordinance Number 4792, providing for a severability and providing an effective date. This is an action item, and we welcome back to the stand our Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Jennifer Tengano.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Jennifer Tengano. Assistant City Attorney. I'm here today to present to you the ordinance that disestablishes the Business Improvement District for downtown Lewiston. The reason why we're here for all three readings is Idaho Code provides that a city shall disestablish a business improvement district if the businesses that pay a majority of the special assessments petition in writing for such disestablishment. Just a few weeks ago, the city treasurer received and verified that a number of written petitions requesting that the city disestablish the district. The total amount that, or the percentage of the special assessments that were paid represented a majority of those petitions. The way that it is, it's not a majority of the ratepayers themselves, it's a majority of the ratepayers that pay the majority of the special assessments. So you could have, 5 ratepayers that pay over 50%, but only have, those 5 ratepayers petition even if there's like 25 different ratepayers. So it's based off of the percentage of the special assessments that are levied. So the city treasurer has received and verified those petitions, and we are now at a point where, in accordance with Idaho Code, we must disestablish the district. It's not discretionary. The remaining questions that are outstanding as a result of disestablishment is what to do with the remaining assets and liabilities. As you can see with the existing ordinance, it's pretty broadly determined or pretty broadly set as far as what can happen with those assets and liabilities. Currently, during the February work session, the City Council approved suspending March billing and collection for this quarterly special assessments. So that amount will not be collected as a result of disestablishment, and any future obligations will be terminated on those ratepayers. Additionally, the City Council is still limited by Articles 8, Section 4, and Article 12, Section 4 of the Idaho Constitution that prohibits the city from loaning or donating city funds or property. So taking that into consideration, we do have some reservations about amending the existing service contract or entering into any service contracts that consider loaning out any physical assets of the district to any third parties, because it could be viewed as loaning city property to third parties in violation of those constitutional prohibitions. Additionally, there's concern over loaning those items because the implication of the service not being able to be provided as we pay for unless we loan those items is a concern. But if desired, we can conduct a full legal analysis on what potential options there would be and the likelihood that such a service contract would be considered a donation if the City Council wishes. The outstanding projects of the district, including installation of some new planters, some benches, and some sunshades, are scheduled to be completed as they were proposed. I'm not sure what the timeline is. Community Development is working with the Parks and Recreation Department on getting those installed. My understanding is that the planters are in the process of getting installed. There's already, I believe there's already service contracts out for those that were started when the BID was still working on those. So that's in progress, and the rest of the projects will be in progress. However, the funds that will, or the costs of those will be deducted from the BID's fund and not the general fund. And that's in accordance with Idaho Code. Idaho Code prohibits taking money out of the general fund to complete any BID projects. As far as any other physical assets that the district has, there is a recommendation that the city make a recommendation to city staff to assess whether or not any of that property is needed for city needs, and then to dispose of any unneeded property at surplus. The city's current policy is that any items not needed should be sold at surplus auction. How the city does that, there's a variety of different ways it can be done, but then the goal would be to put any funds that are received from that surplus auction into the BID fund to be included as a part of a final accounting. Additionally, any remaining funds, whether or not it's the result of any sale of tangible assets, the collection of any outstanding liens, or just the remaining balance that is in that account, we request that you provide direction to the city treasurer to produce an accounting and a recommendation on what the best way to dispose or distribute that. The city council, again, considering constitutional limitations, is able to do a variety of different things. They can refund those funds back to the ratepayers that paid those. That's something that the city treasurer would have to spend some time to work out what's the best way to do it as far as tax purposes and who is going to get the refunds and how much. Because as previously mentioned, there are some outstanding special assessments that the county assessor has from previous year's collections. Additionally, the city could choose to put that money into the general fund. The city could choose to use that money for other things. However, the recommendation from the BID board and the recommendation from the ratepayers is to consider refunding as much money as possible to the ratepayers. So beyond considering those aspects, upon disestablishment of the district, the BID advisory board will also be terminated, so they will no longer be an advisory board of the city. And ordinance number 4792 would be repealed. That particular ordinance created the business improvement district, and it had a termination date in 2026. And so we would need to repeal that to completely get rid of all of those provisions. There is still a section in city code that addresses business improvement districts, but it's a general statute. It doesn't apply to any specific district. So that will remain in city code because of the fact that this disestablishment has no effect on that particular section. I stand for questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Counselors, any questions? Trying to catch up?
I may have some when we move on.
Counselor
Sorry.
Forsman?
Just to make sure I understand, the option to add it into that contract as they stated in the public comment is not feasible or could be feasible?
I would say that it's highly suspect that it could be considered a donation, which would be constitutionally prohibited. So the Idaho Constitution prohibits cities from loaning their credit, their funds, or their property to third parties. There are a number of cases that have assessed these kind of loans, and depending on the specific circumstances of the particular contract, there would have to be a legal analysis on whether or not this is a loan or if this is some kind of service contract. The current contract says that the city pays BDL for certain services. So if the city is going to amend the current contract to include loaning items to BDL, that we then pay BDL to provide a service with those items, it could likely be viewed as a donation as opposed to them actually providing a service with those items. But any particular contract would have to be carefully viewed and the terms, appropriately drafted.
I'll let it sit.
Or just a comment, Mayor.
Counselor Forsman?
It seems like our best option would be is trying to give it back to the ratepayers as possible as we can for fair option, because that's what, at least from the comments I read, they're at least wanting to see that those funds go back to them, if not used for what they wanted them to be, which they were kind of stuck on making that happen. So an effort to keep what they're kind of wanting, it seems like a happy middle ground, not the best ground, but maybe the happy middle ground is what I'm gathering from what you have presented.
And if you mind, part of the recommendation that we are seeking today after adoption of this ordinance is primarily to allow the city treasurer and city staff to assess the assets and the funds that are a part of the district, and then come back to you with a recommendation on the best way to dispose of those. Because as mentioned, there's a lot of different things currently in play as far as those outstanding liens, any outstanding liabilities, the assets, and then, what the best way to provide any kind of refund would be. So it'll take time to work through all of those and to actually get concrete numbers. So any recommendation, we would request that it be that also include a report back to you on, the city treasurer's recommendation of the financials and how to dispose of those financials.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Counselor Kleberg?
So the way I look at it, where we're at right now is basically we're gonna possibly take a motion to combine the first, second, and third readings. Then we'll continue discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
After the ordinance is approved and adopted, then the request is that we continue the discussion and get direction from the city council on how to proceed with disposing of those assets and liabilities. And by disposing, I mean it in the broad sense of now that the district is disestablished, what do we do to close out and wind down the activities and the funds that are in their name?
On that note, that would offer a motion, Mr. Mayor.
Counselor Kleberg?
A motion to combine the first, second, and third readings and waive one reading in full of ordinance 4913.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Kleberg, second by Counselor Schroeder, to combine the first, second, and third readings and waive one reading in full of ordinance number 4913.
Second.
For further discussion? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Counselor Kleberg?
And I'll make a motion to approve the first, second, and third readings of ordinance 4913.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Kleberg, second by Counselor Schroeder, to approve the first, second, and third readings of ordinance number 4913. Counselor Kleberg, would you like to address your motion?
Well, the way I look at it is getting this, disestablished is going to allow us to go on to the next phase, which is where we're going to have our discussion on disposition of the assets, whether it's cash or the materials. And got to have the first before we can have the second.
Further discussion, councilors, or amendments? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Clerk Rocky?
Approving the first, second, third readings of ordinance 4913, an ordinance of the city of Lewiston disestablishing the downtown Lewiston Business Improvement District pursuant to Idaho Code 50-2618, dissolving the Downtown Business Improvement District Advisory Board, repealing city ordinance number 4792, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Councilors, next we'll move to item 3, adoption approval of ordinance summaries. Item A, ordinance 4913. This is an action item. Councilors? Councilor Schroeder?
Motion to adopt ordinance number 4913 and approve the related ordinance summaries.
Been moved by Councilor Schroeder, second by Councilor Klein, to adopt ordinance number 4913 and approve the related ordinance summary. Clerk Rocky?
Council President Kleber,
Aye.
Counselor Schroeder,
Aye.
Counselor Forsman,
Aye.
Counselor Klein. Aye. Counselor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Passes. Counselor Schroeder, did you have anything else?
Should we be making some recommendations?
If you'd like to provide some direction to staff on how to dispose of the BID assets and liabilities. Great.
Yes, I think if it's possible to look into the possibility that beautiful downtown Lewiston could utilize something and not, oh, there's something here that I should read and don't go on my own.
Bottom.
Provide the direction to the city treasurer to conduct an accounting of the district's financial affairs, including but not limited to an assessment of all proceeds, assets, and liabilities as of February 26, 24. Provide direction to the city treasurer to dispose of any tangible assets of the district not needed for city purposes by surplus and deposit the proceeds of such sale into the district's funds to be included in the final accounting for the district. Provide direction for the city treasurer to provide a recommendation to the city council on how the financial assets will be disposed of, with an emphasis on providing a rebate to the ratepayers of the district. Provide direction to city staff to complete any existing but not completed projects of the district and to deduct all costs associated therewith from the proceeds of the district.
So Counselor Schroeder just provided some words for staff, some direction, city staff on how to proceed. We're not going to take a motion on that, but you heard what Counselor Schroeder had to say. So if you would like to add to that or have any questions for staff, please feel free to offer those now at this time.
Mayor,
Counselor Forsman?
more just a comment. We obviously want to make sure that what we're doing and how we're allocating these monies is fair and also legally sound. And we have the citizens of Lewiston, of all Lewiston, in mind with dealing with this decision. And so we just want to make sure we're taking our steps effectively, and that when we come back, that we're not sure what that decision might be, but we need to make sure that we're doing this legally and hopefully the best we can for those who have already paid into this, and also with keeping downtown Lewiston in mind.
Jennifer?
Would you also like us to provide a legal analysis on the possibility of any kind of service contract using those assets as well?
That would be a good thing to have, I think. Thank you.
I can work with you on that, Jennifer. Share a couple of other ideas with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, counselors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Jamie, did you capture most of that, or I can follow up with you tomorrow? Just for the record, so everybody hears this publicly. Okay. Alrighty, thank you. Councilors, next we'll move to Roman numeral 8, items moved from the consent agenda. Dr. Payable, Counselor Forsman.
Page 8 of 12 under miscellaneous customer refund. I was just curious with the economic development, the CDBG Lewiston Independent School District for the amount of $444,029. I have no quarrels with it. I just want to know what it's about.
The $444.29 to the Lewiston School District?
Yes.
The Lewiston School District is a grantee of the CDBG funds under homelessness and homelessness prevention. And so this is a payment that we made for one of the clients that they have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Councilors, any further comments, questions on vouchers payable? Counselor Schroeder.
Do we need a motion to approve?
We do need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the, what is it?
Consent.
Vouchers payable.
Vouchers payable.
Oh, with the amendment, right, okay.
Would someone like to second that?
Second.
Thank you, Counselor. It's been moved by Counselor Schroeder, seconded by Council President Kleberg to approve vouchers payable. If there's no further discussion, Clerk Brocky.
Council President Kleberg,
Aye.
Counselor Schroeder,
Aye.
Counselor Forsman,
Aye.
Counselor Klein,
Aye.
Counselor Spiegelmeier.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you, councilors. Councilors, we next move to Roman numeral 9, unfinished and new business. Item A, city councilor comments. Comments shall not be related to an item currently before the city council or an item that may come before the city council in the foreseeable future and shall be limited to comments, not discussion.
Mayor.
Councilor Forsman.
There is an experience, an immersive journey into law enforcement and community safety with the Lewiston Police Department. It's their 27th annual Citizens Police Academy, running from March 19th to May 28th. This is a 10-week program, offers a unique opportunity to engage with the officers and gain valuable insight into policing practices. There was 20 seats available. I'm not sure how many there are now, but you can go on the website and sign into that. You'll have to fill out a background and then just a general form that they can look through, and then if there's spots available, they can sign you up. What you can expect from that is discover and learn and engage, gain insight into the criminal justice system and crime prevention strategies, build relationships with officers, strengthening and bond between citizens and law enforcement for a safer community, explore the operations, training, procedures, and equipment of the Lewiston Police Department. And Academy highlights to complete out my spiel, to tour the police station and learn about the enhanced 911 system, explore patrol procedures, crime scene investigations, and drug enforcement, get hands-on experience with firearms, procedures, and SWAT team operations, participate in scenario simulators, and a 10-hour ride-along with a Lewiston police officer. I did sign up for that now. I said I would, and I got the email, and I said I'd do it, so I will be doing that, as well as being a citizen's firewoman for a day and a half or so as well. So I said I would get that so I can get involved with our local heroes that keep us safe every day, and to make sure that I know the importance of what they are doing. And so I'm excited to see what that entails for me. I might not want to do the simulations. I've heard they can use fake bullets, and I heard it hurts. And I'm debating that, but maybe I might tough it out and see. We'll see about it. But that is my citizen's comment.
Does somebody have another nickel? She ran out here. Thank you. I appreciate your energy. I hope you don't mind me having some fun with you, but I am out of money. I did do the Citizen Police Academy, and it's well worth your time and investment. I learned a lot.
Did you get shot?
No.
No.
I did it probably 30 years ago.
Oh, I was going to say that was a eunuch or Jubilee, but I thought you did it as mayor.
Yeah,
So.
many years ago, when I was much younger than I know. Other councilor comments? Okay, city boards and commission liaison updates. What do you have for us tonight, councilors? Councilor Schroeder?
With the Public Works Advisory Commission, which we had our last meeting, I think on February 14th, we adjusted, we made a proposal to amend our bylaws, the frequency and scheduling. We changed to the third Wednesday of the month. So our next meeting will now be on March 20th of 24 at noon to 1. And then on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, we have stakeholder regional safety action plan that has been going on for a while, and they have asked the stakeholders of that they invited the stakeholders to provide input this next, in March. So we hope that we get some to the consultants of the state, Regional Safety Action Plan.
Thank you, Counselor. Other updates? Counselor Spicklemeyer?
Yeah, for the Parks and Rec Commission, they reported that the grant for the playground equipment at Pioneer Park has been approved, so they're looking forward to getting that on the project schedule.
Thank you, Counselor. I attended my first CETA meeting last Thursday night. Counselor Lickey formerly had that role, so saw a lot of old friends from around the 5 counties that serve with this group. It's a great group. They have a lot of energy and a lot of good things that they do throughout the counties, especially in the rural parts of Idaho here. So I have a lot to learn, but I'm going to stay committed to that and spend more time with them. So they sent me a bunch of stuff to read over the weekend. I'll get to it. That's what I can tell you, but I did attend. Mayor comments. I don't want to just single one group out, but I do want to thank Director Gordon and her team. They've been working very, very hard, and I think over this weekend too, to get this report put together, and they did that with flying colors, and I'm sure that they'll get an award on this one like they have in previous years too. So we just thank you for your efforts on that, Amy, and for keeping us all moving forward. Much appreciated. Item D, Advisory Board and Commission appointments. Item 1, Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board, considering the appointment of Jennifer Ganache to a 4-year term. This is an action item. I will move to approve the appointment of Jennifer Ganache to a 4-year term on the Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board.
Second. Oh. She was first.
It's been moved by Mayor Johnson, second by Councilor Forstman to approve the appointment of Jennifer Ganache to a 4-year term on the Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Carries. Councilors, agenda topics. This is your opportunity to add something. Councilor Spicklemeyer?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to add the Burt Lips swimming pool repair update and discussion to a future workshop.
Second.
Do you have a date in mind, Councilor? Otherwise, it's just going to hang out there until we find one, like, or a month?
Is March too early? Or probably April, April workshop?
It's been moved by Councilor Spickmeyer, second by Councilor Forsman to add Burt Lips repair update to the April work session. In favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That will be added to the April work session. Okay, with that, councilors, we get to room number 10, Councilor Cleburne.
Just one brief comment before I forget, because I almost did. Thursday, February 29th is Leap Day, and my beautiful bride, Sue, will finally turn 16. So, not robbing the cradle anymore. Thank you.
Welcome, Councilor.
So we're happy to have a birthday.
Councilors, would you like to go home?
Yes.
They would enter.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Schroeder, second by Councilor Forsman to adjourn. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, councilors.
Thank you.